welcome in our first guest today. Dr. Jeff Roessner is an English professor at Mercyhurst University, and he teaches an interesting course on the works of Bob Dylan. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Glad to have you. This is an interesting option for college students to be taking. First of all, why Bob Dylan?
Because I think he's the greatest songwriter probably, well, certainly in popular music history. So he's just important for that fact alone. But he also won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 2016. So he's been validated on sort of the highest level.
And how long have you been offering this course?
I've offered, this is the third time this semester that I've taught it.
Okay.
I've offered it for the past 7 or 8 years. I've been teaching it. So.
Okay. What's the reaction from students when they come in on that first date? What are they expecting from a class like this?
Well, I always do a survey to find out if they've actually heard of Bob Dylan.
Sure.
You can't count on it. But you know, there's a chunk of them who have not heard of him. But then if I play a song, they recognize it. But there's also a big group of them who tell me, oh, you know, my dad is such a huge Bob Dylan fan, and we listened to him all the time when I was growing up. Or my mom is a huge fan, or my grandfather's a huge fan. So there's a fan base still out there, even among young people.
What seems to be the biggest takeaway for your students at the end of this course?
We're really thinking a lot about the lyrics because it is a literary studies class. So we go through and treat them as poetry and really dissect what he's trying to evoke for us. But also I'm really interested in the way that he's just consistently reinvented himself as an artist. So he's gone through so many distinctive periods in his career, and every time somebody tries to put him in or think of him in a certain way or put him in a certain place, he defies them by doing something else, which has sometimes made fans angry with him. For example, when he shifted from being really known for being a folk artist in the early 1960s, and then famously picked up an electric guitar at the Newport Folk Festival and got booed by the angry folk fans. But then proceeded to have a really big career as a sort of mainstream rock artist in the 1960s, but then went on to essentially invent country rock. Went on to, he converted to Christianity in the late 70s and put out several Christian albums.
Oh, wow.
In the past several years, he's put out a couple of jazz albums of classic standards like Frank Sinatra songs and so forth, like things that you just would not expect this man to do. And
of course, Dylan returning to Erie at the end of the month. Have you and your class talked about that and him coming to town?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was the first day of class this semester, I opened the newspaper and it was the announcement that he was going to perform. So I got to take that to class the first day and announce it. And a bunch of them have tickets for the show. So
I bet.
We will, it's his third time performing in Erie, so.
And this is a world tour, and he's no spring chicken. How old is Dylan now?
He's 82 years old.
Wow.
He's 82. But he's like the Rolling Stones and Paul McCartney, and Ringo Starr. They're still out there, still doing their thing. I think I joke that I think he has a house, but I don't know if he ever goes to it, because he's been essentially on tour since the late 1980s, non-stop.
Yeah, goodness.
Yeah.
So you must really be looking forward to that show coming up.
Yeah, there's the information on that show coming up on October 23rd. Doctor, you also said you offer a class on the Beatles, so this must be really fun work for you over at Mercyhurst there.
It's so fantastic. It's so much fun. I just enjoy them all. But I mean, really, I love Bob Dylan, but the Beatles, that's
that's your favorite.
First love.
And when are you teaching that course again?
I just taught it last year, so it'll probably be a couple of years before I do it.
Well, enjoy that Bob Dylan concert. What's your big song that you can't wait to hear him do live?
Well, he's really playing a lot of songs from the most recent the 2019 album. So not a lot of the old greatest hits happening, but he opens with Watching the River Flow, which is one of my favorites.
Okay, great. Well, enjoy it. And thanks for stopping in today.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
Thank you so much.